How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Training Camp Podcast. I do want to start this podcast off on kind of a different note. First of all, I want to say thank you. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, in the past 2 days since I am currently filming this, I have gotten a little over 100 subscribers on the channel, and I can't say enough how much I appreciate it. I've gotten an overwhelming amount of support on my videos lately. And a big portion of this is due to the collaboration I did with AC. So if you guys can, go check out AC's channel. I'm going to leave a link in the description. Shout out to him for helping me out, give me that collab. And for all of you guys that are new to the channel, welcome. I hope you guys stick around as long as possible. And I'm looking forward to the future. Since there are so many new people to the channel, I do want to explain the podcast real quick. This is a weekly podcast that I do, and I talk mostly NBA and NFL. I'll probably throw in some other sports when they become a little more relevant in a certain time. But right now, the main focus is NFL and NBA. Unfortunately, I did have a regular show planned out. As you guys can see, I'm not even in my normal studio for the podcast. The reason for that is we did have a normal show planned out, like I was saying. But where I live in Utah. We were experiencing some hurricane-level winds. And I had a guest coming on. We had everything planned out. But because of the weather, it was just impossible for us to do the show. So we're gonna move that guest, who I'm just gonna keep him anonymous for right now. We're gonna move him to just another time, which is a shame because I was really looking forward to having him on the show. But you know what? We can always have him on another time. So this is gonna be technically our podcast. It's not gonna be as long as the usual ones. The usual ones are about 40 minutes to an hour, but this one's probably gonna be 10 to 20 minutes. Just because I am filming this Thursday evening. This is going to go up Friday, either afternoon or evening. And this is just going to have one segment in it, and it's going to be my picks. It's called Wallet Winners. We'll get into that a little bit later. But that's basically the rundown for the show. For those of you guys that are new to the channel, I will leave a link and a card to all the previous episodes if you guys want to check those out. We've had 3 episodes so far, 2 with guests. It's been a lot of fun. I'm loving this podcast. And we are also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So if you want to check us out there, you guys can. And I always leave little sliders in the timeline on YouTube. So if you want to go to a certain segment, you guys can go to that. But unfortunately for this, we're only going to technically have 2 segments. 1 being the thank you to everyone that's come in. And then 2 being Wallet Winners, which let's get into Wallet Winners. So this is going to be a brand new segment I'm going to do every single week. Basically, this is going to be my picks for the NFL season. And I'm not just going to do 1 or 2 teams. I am going to do 5 teams, 4 regulars, and then 1 upset. And these are betting. So if you're old enough to bet, hey, maybe take a chance with me like me. I usually do put these bets down, the ones that I say. If you're not old enough to bet, please don't do it. We can't have you guys get in trouble. But, you know, since I've been old enough to start sports gambling, I've been doing it a little bit more lately. And I took it pretty seriously last year, and I had a great time doing it. I didn't lose any money doing it, luckily. But it's a lot of fun, and I do want to share my picks with you guys and who I think you guys can definitely, like it says, wallet winners, who I think you guys can pick to help your wallets out a little bit. So, like I said, we have 5 teams every single week, and 1 being an upset. I'll do the upset last. First pick is going to be Seattle and Atlanta. Seattle is a minus 2.5 favorite, and I am picking Seattle. I'm picking them minus 2.5. I don't know why the line is this small. 2.5 is kind of crazy. I would have pictured Vegas doing about a 3.5 or 4.5. So the fact that they're giving us a field goal, I think, is really generous of them. One of the biggest things with Seattle right now is they're rumored to be letting Russell Wilson just completely run the offense, which that's amazing for Seattle if they can let him do that. And they honestly have some of the most underrated players offensively with DK and Tyler. Sorry, my dad's dog just had a little dream. With DK, Tyler Lockett, Chris Carson, obviously Russell Wilson. I think they have an extremely underrated offense. And I think Vegas had the over-under at like 49 or something like that. So they're expecting a little high-scoring game. And I definitely see that, especially with Atlanta's great offense and Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, Todd Gurley. Though I do like Atlanta. I know a couple weeks ago I picked Atlanta to be one of my surprise teams, one of the underrated teams in the NFL. But I think it's going to take them 3 to 4 weeks to finally like mesh. Especially, this is going to be a really big theme within my week 1 picks, is the fact that we didn't have the offseason or the OTAs that we had as normally, which is going to affect rookie coaches, trade players, offseason signings, and the biggest one is like rookie coaches and rookie players. So I think Atlanta will be obviously not a contender, but I think they're going to be a good team. I just think it's going to take a couple weeks. So I do have Seattle winning this game outright, 30-27. Our second pick is the Monday Night Football game. It's Pittsburgh against New York, and I have Pittsburgh at -5.5. Again, Vegas giving us half a point. I love it when they do that, because that way, when they give you a -4 or -3 or just literally a solid number, it's really scary because you can always just break even. But when they give you that half, I really, really like that. It's one of the things, my favorite things I like to bet on. I don't understand. 5.5, I think, is a great line for Pittsburgh. I just don't understand I don't understand why so many people are sleeping on Pittsburgh this year. It seems like people are either expecting them to like win the Super Bowl or be like 7-9, 6-10. I think the biggest thing, obviously, is Big Ben is back, so that's going to help our offense a lot. And people are worried about Big Ben, I think, is the big reason why they're a little concerned about Pittsburgh. But with Big Ben back, last time he was healthy, he threw for 5,000 plus yards, and I think that's going to be huge for Pittsburgh's offense. And Deontay Johnson is that outside wide receiver they've been looking for to kind of replace Antonio Brown. Obviously, he's not as good as Antonio Brown, but he is that speedy outside wide receiver. He's one of the fastest players in the league too, so I think he's going to have an immediate impact, especially with Big Ben's arm. So 5.5 is great, and I do like New York. Again, like I was saying with theme, they have a brand new head coach, so it's going to take a couple weeks for them to get into like a groove. I don't think they're going to be a great team, but Saquon, Daniel Jones, I think are going to surprise a lot of people. No, not Saquon, but I think Daniel Jones might surprise a lot of people. But I don't think they can really do that much in week 1, especially playing a Pittsburgh defense that had almost their entire team return in the offseason. And I think it's a top 2 defense, in my opinion. So I think Pittsburgh at 5.5 is awesome. I am going to have Pittsburgh winning by 10, though, 27-17. So that's my second pick. Pick 3 is another 5.5 point spread. It's Philadelphia. Philadelphia's at -5.5, and again, I love this. This is a perfect line for Philadelphia if you want to be a betting man on this week. Washington is in a complete state of dysfunction right now with everything that happened in the offseason, with the complete culture change. Like, they are in. I cannot imagine being a rookie in Washington right now with everything going on. Nonetheless, like Dwayne Haskins. I love Ron Rivera, but he's been having some health problems lately. And even though he's an amazing coach, I don't think he can turn this team around in a year. And their defense, though Chase Young helps out a lot, their defense is very bad. It's one of the worst defenses in the league, in my opinion. And I think Philadelphia, even though they are down basically their entire wide receiving core, I think the biggest wide receiver that they have that is healthy is Deshaun Jackson, who's that over-the-top guy where Carson Wentz, if he needs to, can just throw a deep bomb, catches it. He's a one-play touchdown type of guy. So I think this is perfectly set up. Like, if you're in fantasy, you have Deshaun Jackson, you want to play him. They have a great breakout candidate in Miles Sanders. If he is fully healthy, expect Miles Sanders to have a great game. I don't understand the 5.5 here. Again, I think it's a little low for Philadelphia. So I'm going to have Philadelphia kind of blowing out Washington 24-10. Fourth pick. This is a kind of, in my eyes, I see this as a risky pick, but I really do like this pick a lot. It's Detroit -3 against Chicago. Now, I do like Detroit. I think odds-wise, I would have just picked Detroit. But the reason I'm taking -3 is because Vegas has that as a plus 102 bet, which means you have a low risk, high reward if you take this bet. Most of the time when you're betting a spread, it's like a -110, -130. You're gonna make less than you would have bet down. So the fact that this is a plus 102, I really, really like. But I also, again, going back to Detroit, they're getting Matthew Stafford back, and I know I think he has a below 500 career winning percentage, but last season he went 3-4-1 when he was playing for the Lions, and I know that's still 4 losses, but in all 4 of those games, they were all one possession games, 2 of which were the Packers and the Chiefs, who they lost to the Packers by 1 point. They lost to the Chiefs by 4. So I think that's a great showing that Matthew Stafford is a real game changer for this team. The Bears defense is the only thing that could change this, because their offense I'm completely worried about. They named Mitchell Trubisky the starter, and if he's taking the strides that people have been saying they've been seeing in the OTAs, then this obviously will be a better team. But I think coming out, you should have played Nick Foles just to really kind of bump up the competition for Mitchell Trubisky. And Nick Foles is a veteran of the game, so he just has a better chance of proving success for Chicago. David Montgomery isn't fully healthy either, so they really don't have a running back. They have Tariq Cohen, obviously, but he's more of a pass-catching option than he is a rushing option, so that's completely taken out. And Allen Robinson is probably their only receiver. I like Anthony Miller, but, when Mitchell Trubisky's in trouble, he just kind of throws it up for Allen Robinson to hopefully, there goes my dog again, for Allen Robinson to hopefully just kind of bring down. So even though I do kind of like Chicago, I think that their heads are in the wrong place right now with like all the distractions at quarterback. So I do think, and the Lions are favored here, so -3 I think is a little generous for Detroit, but the fact that it's a +102 I really like. So I am gonna have, it's not gonna be a high scoring game by any means. It's gonna be Detroit winning 20-14. Now my final pick, this will always be my one upset of the week. And honestly, again, I can see why Vegas has this. This is going to be fun. Why Vegas has this as an upset, because on paper, it looks like Vegas should win. Obviously, if you haven't been able to tell by now, I have Carolina beating Vegas. Carolina, I'm taking them odds. I'm not taking the spread. I'm taking them odds all the way. They're at +130 against Las Vegas right now. They're adding Teddy Bridgewater. I know I've been saying a big thing about how the OTAs are a big deal, not having them and how that'll affect new players. But Teddy Bridgewater is kind of getting to that veteran category where he can pick up an offense like that. I mean, he picked up that Saints offense when Drew Brees got injured last year. I know that's been rumored to be a very complicated offense. The fact that Teddy Bridgewater was able to pick that up so fast is great. One of the biggest gripes people have with Teddy Bridgewater is he doesn't have like the biggest arm. He can't just sling it down the field, which is perfect for Carolina, because if he does get into pocket trouble, he does have the escapability with his legs where he can extend the play a little bit longer, and if he has to, he can just dump it off to McCaffrey, who's obviously going to get him anywhere from 5 to plus yards. You can go, I was going to say 20, but I mean, he could honestly break off for like a 70-yard touchdown knowing Christian McCaffrey. But at the same time, while they have those kind of dink and dunk players, they also have over the top guys like a Robbie Anderson, who is pure speed. He can run down on a streak and just kind of burn a defender and that's a one-play touchdown situation right there. They also have one of the top 20 receivers in the league right now in DJ Moore. So I think they have some great weapons. Though they're not going to be like a playoff team this year, I think Las Vegas is favored, and I don't understand why here. Again, Raiders they have a lot of young players. I think they have 2 rookies starting at the wide receiver right now. And though they are talented receivers, I just think it's week 1. You're playing against it's not a veteran team because they did lose Luke Kuechly, but it's a more experienced team. I mean, the worst player in the NFL is going to be a million times better than the worst player in college, obviously. Like, there's just such a skill differential. So with all these rookies, it's going to be hard to adapt in week 1. And the Raiders have the 21st ranked defense in the league. I also do think the Panthers have one of the worst defenses as well. But again, I just don't trust the Raiders right now. I think the Raiders are one of those teams that can get hotter later in the season. But I think for the first couple of weeks, if Vegas is betting more towards the Raiders, then I would kind of stray away from that just to see how they perform in the first 3 weeks. So I do have the Panthers winning. It's a close game, 24-21, but I want to take the Panthers straight up there. So again, all I'm going to be doing this week for the Training Camp podcast is the wallet winners. I would have loved to do a regular show this week, but just due to unforeseen circumstances, I wasn't able to. So expect the Training Camp podcast to be back for next week. Again, I'm so sorry this was a shorter podcast. I really do love doing the podcast. It's one of my favorite things about the channel right now is the podcast, getting guests on, just talking sports. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I'm really glad that it's been having the success it's been having. If you guys have any topics or anything you guys want me to talk about or anything any of my thoughts you want to hear, please drop it in the comments. Like, this is not only between me and whatever guests I bring on the show, but I want it to be between you guys too. So yeah, if you guys have any interests or any questions for me on the show, I will gladly answer those. Again, also just a huge thanks for everyone that's been just giving me an outrageous amount of support, and it's just crazy that how I got basically half of the amount of subscribers I had on the channel within one day. I hope you guys stick around, like I said, and I hope you guys enjoy the content I make in the future. So on a side note, I will not be making videos for the next couple days just because I am not home. I am at my home, where I grew up home for the next couple of days, helping out with some stuff. But I will be back in about a week to be making videos soon. I might make some more kind of like camera videos, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. Thank you guys for watching the Training Camp Podcast, and I will see you guys in the next episode.